Yep, you read the title of this video correctly. And in order to get ready to review a Land Rover Defender, one has to get into character. Now here we go. Okay, well, welcome to another video, and yes, this is the review of the Land Rover Defender. Now, it's not often that when one gets to spend a couple days with the car that they can say, this could be the perfect car. And I think that's the case with me. Now, I've had this car for a few days and I've had the opportunity to test it on-road and off-road, dirt roads and everything where this car belongs. And it's just handled every different road surface with absolute ease. It hasn't halted it, it hasn't stopped it. This car's just remained perfectly itself throughout every type of condition that I've put it through. And at the heart of this beast is a 3-litre inline-6 twin turbocharged diesel engine, putting out 221 kilowatts and 650 newton meters of torque. Now, those aren't just numbers to make a brochure or website look good, because when you actually need it and you put your foot down, that torque figure just absolutely keeps pulling and pulling and pulling, and the kilowatts just give you that instant pull as soon as you need it. It's very, very impressive. And thanks to that impressive torque figure, you are able to tow up to 3.5 tons. And the performance and power is only as good as how it's being delivered to you. And this has got an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is almost faultless. As you saw there, when I put my foot down, it instantly just pulled off. I didn't experience that much lag either. And I think that comes from the twin turbocharged setup here. So it's constantly trying to keep the engine in boost at all times for you. And there's a lot to be said about this Defender because it replaces a car that almost goes down in automotive history. The original Defender is almost like if you tell a child to draw a car, that's the shape that they're going to draw naturally. So this car had massive shoes to fill, and it had a lot of eyes on it, so it needed to impress. And I think that it has. The design is beautiful. The interior is just as plush as what you'd expect from a Land Rover product. But because it's a Defender, they've still kept it utilitarian, and it's able to take knocks and bumps, and it can withstand the off-roading and dirty feet and dirty hands. And I think that they've done this Defender complete justice. I mean, they even used to make fun of the old Defender because you couldn't fit properly in it. The door was literally over here. So the best and only way to drive a Defender back in the day was like this, because you had to, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. You didn't fit properly. So obviously, well, from what I think is, when they designed it, they said, can a person drive this Defender without having to keep their arm out of the window? And I think that was the first design accomplishment that they did. And because it's a Land Rover, it has to be dynamic as well. And yes, it's a Defender, it's a big off-road vehicle, but it's part of the JLR company, so it needs to be dynamic still. I mean, yeah, you can go off-road in it, but when you put your foot down and you drive, and it's responsive, and it's actually quite fun. And whenever you hear Defender, the first thing you think of is off-road. And I had the opportunity to take it off-road while I had this car, and let me tell you, this thing is an absolute beast. And coupled with the adaptive air suspension, you can really go anywhere, and at the simple touch of a button, you can raise the suspension and lower it. It's really easy, which means going from a tarred road surface onto a dirt road and then onto a bit of a rocky outcrop is all done instantaneously here. And not only do you have the air suspension that's helping you, but you've also got Land Rover's famous terrain response, which at the tap of a button down here and through the rotary dials, you can adjust the different terrains that you're on, from grass and gravel to rocks, mud ruts and snow. And then there's also wade sensing, which means you can go into water up to 900 millimeters. So just under a meter, you can drive this car through water. And driving on a dirt road at responsible speeds is a feeling I've never felt in a car before, like I did in this Defender. Just how smooth it was, how it absorbed the bumps and the stones and anything on a dirt road that you would normally come past. This air suspension, coupled up with the dynamics and all the brains of this car, just made driving on that dirt road feel like I was driving on tar. It was just mind-blowing. And looking at the exterior design of this Defender, I think it was one of those cars where the longer it's been out in the market and the more that people see it, the more familiar you become with the look and the more you start to like it. And it grows on people very quickly. It doesn't have defined bumpers. It's got that flat look at the back. It's boxy, it's squared off. It's everything the old Defender was, but just modernized in today's day and age with today's health and safety codes. It looks menacing. It's got huge road presence. And anyone who sees the car coming just gets out of the way for you. It's actually a really cool car to be in, to feel like you have this much power. Not engine power, but I own the road power. And I love how they've kept some things the same as they had on the original Defender. Like, you've got those metal tread plates that they would put all over Defenders. They've got like that sort of design on the bonnet, which looks really cool. It doesn't add anything, but from an aesthetic point of view, I like it. And then there's the rear door, which also opens up like a door, just like the old Defender did. And most importantly, and one of the most iconic parts of a Defender design, are the windows that you have in the top corner, kind of where the body and the roof meet. They're like skylights at the top, and they've kept that. This one has it. And then there's the interior, a part of the car that I don't think a lot of people have actually had a look at. But if you go and look at the interior of a Defender, you will be pleasantly surprised with how utilitarian and off-road focused, but still plush and along the lines of how Jaguar Land Rover is. It's an awesome mix of everything together. It's still completely premium. You've got leather and soft touch materials everywhere. But what's cool about it being a Defender is that you've still got grab handles, but the grab handles are also wrapped in leather. You've got soft touch materials and rubberizing all over. Like, there's no gloss black and piano trim. Like, this is all rubber, which has been designed to take a beating and get knocked and bumped and not get scratched. You'll see that they've also kept these rivets and bolts exposed, like it's an industrial Defender, but it's not. You've got storage all over. You've got massive cup holders. You've got huge bins. You've got storage down here to put big items. The door bins are massive. The seats are also leather, but they've combined it with this tough material as well. So the parts of the seat that take the most traffic aren't going to get worn, so your leather's not going to look horrible. It's those smart things. And yes, you could take this into the deepest, most treacherous parts of Africa if you wanted to, but you'll still have all of your plush and comfortable features like heated seats. You've also got this beautiful curved infotainment with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can see all of your 4x4 settings. You can see what your car's doing at any given time. You can see the suspension. As I've said, you've also got terrain response here. You've also got a 360-degree camera system that is so crisp, and you can see almost every angle of the car whenever you need to. So if you're going through a rocky outcrop and you don't want to scratch a rim, you can go and look at that front left tire and you can see how close you are to it to avoid it. It's really got everything. And it goes without saying that Jaguar Land Rover produces SUVs that just drive differently. Like, the driving position that I'm currently sitting in, it feels like I'm in a throne. Like, you're sitting on top of the car, looking down on everything around you. Like, I can see into people's cars from where I am, and it doesn't feel weird or like you are too high, but everything is in proportion and it's just dominating, man. You've got so much presence in this car. And the whole front of this dash is also a storage unit. From one end to the other, there's an entire shelf in the front here that's rubberized for you to put anything onto. You've got space behind the infotainment too to store stuff, and a little cubby on the side here too. Every space that could be used for storage has been used for storage. They haven't wasted anything here. And to enjoy your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you've also got a premium Meridian sound system, which is on par with every other Jaguar Land Rover product out there. So this might be a Defender, but they haven't dropped the quality anywhere. And then there's the pricing. So the Defender range starts off at 1.5 million, and that's for your entry-level Defender 90, your two-door short wheelbase version. And it goes all the way up to 3 million Rand for the larger V8 Defender. But the one we're currently in here sells for 1.8 million Rand, and it's the Defender X Dynamic. And coming back to the engine, that 3-litre inline-six twin turbocharged diesel engine, that sounds so badass. It's also so thirsty. They do claim about 8 litres per 100 on this car. I haven't been able to get close to that. I'm more in like the 11s. And like I said, I did take it off-road, so I did have to travel quite a distance to get to, you know, where I needed to for that. And it didn't really come down as quickly as I was hoping it would. But, you know, it's got an 89-litre tank, so you're also getting a lot of diesel in here. So you will be able to travel quite far on a full tank. I almost want to describe this Land Rover Defender as like a Swiss Army knife. It's got everything that you need in a compact small package. So like I've said, you've got all of the off-road functionality that you're going to need at the simple touch of a button. Nothing is complicated. You've also got USB slots up in the front here. You've got one on the dash. Your passengers have also got USB-C slots. They've also got their own individual climate control. The seats are able to slide backwards and forwards. Then if you look in the boot, that's just a whole nother story, because you've got cup holders in there for the rear seats, power sockets and pockets, and just places to store and put anything. They've really thought about this car being an adventure car. The lining of the boot is also rubberized, so that's been designed to also take a bit of a beating. And the actual door itself has also got storage in it. Like, it doesn't end. Cool, let's take a quick squiz at what the cost of ownership is. Okay, so we've come to the end of the review and it's time to do the GDR test. So should you get it, should you drive it, or should you remove it from your list of cars that you're looking at? And I'm definitely going to say, go and get this Land Rover Defender. It's not often you come across a car that I feel is perfect. It's got a really powerful 3-litre diesel engine. It's got a massive fuel tank. It's got all the comfort you could ever need. I mean, it's a Jaguar Land Rover product, so not going to drop the ball on that. It's got that go anywhere spirits, because you can literally go anywhere. The air suspension is so soft. The air suspension can lift you. You've got ground clearance to go anywhere. You're comfortable. The interior has been built to be able to take a beating and to not make you feel so precious about your plush interior items, because it's been rubberized and there's plastic. I mean, the whole floor of the car is plastic. There aren't any carpets in here. So if you do get any mud and dirt into it, you just wipe it out, or just get a hose in here and just, you know, wash everything out that you need to. And if I had the money, this is where it would go. So thanks for watching another Greg Dennis review. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little bit more about the Land Rover Defender. And I hope I helped you in any potential purchasing decision that you might have. And if you are going to go buy a Land Rover Defender, then please go check out changecars.co.za, where you'll be able to find new and used Defenders, and I'm sure you'll be able to find the perfect car for you. The reason I want to suggest Change Cars is because they're also approved by other auto manufacturers as well as Discovery. So you can trust them with your purchasing decision that you're going to get a good product. And Change Cars is also a proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. So if I'm telling you to go check them out, then trust me. And if you want to see more videos like this and other car reviews, then make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.